What's up, YouTube? COD 4Man221 here, and welcome back to another episode in Season 3 for Company of Heroes 2 online series I've been doing since the beta. So, we are playing with Lipton once again. We're both the United States. We're going up against an OKW and a Wehrmacht player on Minsk Pocket. So here's the plan. Let's break it down. So my plan is to quickly rush this area right here, and then build a fighting position around the munitions to capture that, so I can hold the munitions and basically kind of try to lock down this right side here, and then Lipton's going to try to hold the middle and spread out a little bit on the left side. But basically, I'm going to be the flanking force. If they try to push up in the middle around this victory point, my forces will come and flank them from that side. But also, by just being able to cut this area off, it'll focus them more towards the left side of the map. So you can see I've already captured this position right here. And I'm going to make sure I have some riflemen before I build this fighting position. It's very hard for any faction pretty much early on to take out fighting positions or bunkers for the Wehrmacht, because the Soviets actually don't have any kind of... OKW and the Soviets do not have any kind of fortifications like that early on. But it's hard because they have to either get a mortar, which will take a little while to destroy one of those fighting positions, or have to get an AT gun out. Both can take a little while. And especially on a map like this, you'll see where I build my fighting position in a little bit here. But basically, you can see they're spreading out. This actually kind of... They haven't really decided on one side. This guy's grabbing the fuel. And we have purple? Or I guess that's more pink. You can see the pink and the red player are kind of... Looks like pink's trying to go left here on the mini-map, and then red's trying to go right a little bit and kind of in the middle. So he's a little spread out himself. So you can see I built the fighting position right here. Now what this will do is just early on it'll give us some cover, but it'll also cover this approach here. So if they try to come up the hill and flank me, they'll be in a little bit of trouble. And then it'll suppress their troops also once they put the machine gun in. Now we do have rifle grenades. Can you imagine if other units could just hop in these fighting positions and use rifle grenades? That would make the US riflemen very overpowered. You just have a bunch of these little fighting positions and they're all shooting rifle grenades out. And I have a lot of troops here. Almost having a little bit of trouble against these OKW Storm Pioneers early on, almost losing the squad. But basically he's cut them off at their own choke point here. You know, they can't basically push on the left side unless they have the point that he's contesting currently. Anyway, I see some Pioneers and I have 2 riflemen, so he's actually going to fall back. Now, I was sure there's going to be like some kind of MG or something around this area here, but there's actually nothing. It's completely undefended. His MG's in the middle. And we don't really, you know, Lipton is doing the same thing. He's getting ready to put in a machine gun in the fighting position here. Get a nice 50 cal, and that should help hold the center a little bit, but his horses have been pushed back. So I've actually not grabbed this point because it's behind our lines. I'm going to grab the points in front first. Mainly just go for that victory point, because as they're taking the middle victory point, I'm neutralizing the right victory point. So we'll still keep winning on the victory point score. Now it's 500 to 486 still, so it's not like the victory point is completely over. Like, I mean, it's not like... Basically, it's pretty even still. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, you can see I'm almost done upgrading this to the machine gun, and you'll be able to see the angle here. Once it's done, there's a little bit more fire on this side. So you can see this angle right here. It covers this whole side. You can see it covers this whole side of the hill there, so that's why I positioned it like that. Because now I can flank down, and they can't flank up unless... Even if they have the guys with Panzerschrecks, right? They're going to get suppressed before they're going to be close to that fighting position. Anyway, Lipton's getting pushed in the middle a little bit, so I'm going to try to help out, but there's a machine gun here. It's actually covering this whole flank here, so I'm in a little bit of trouble. But we definitely have map control. I mean, if you look at the map, we hold the majority of it. They're making a push, though, on the left side here. Past Lipton's guys here. He's trying to put up a fighting position, but he has a lot of troops in the middle, too, trying to stop it. There's a major OKW push coming on the left here, led by their supply truck. Anyway, you can see these guys are getting suppressed by the fighting position there. And yeah, I'm pretty comfortably holding this right side here. No issues at all. Completely abandoned it pretty much because there's nothing opposing me. And I've started building these Tank traps could be a little controversial, wasting time through our echelons, but we're not really doing anything. I'm basically trying to funnel a armored vehicle into this area right here so I could use an AT to kill it if I need to. And I decided to go with the captain. It's been a while since I've actually made a captain, and I realized they're actually only 60 fuel instead of 80, so they made them cheaper because they made the major more expensive. So now I'm going to start getting the captain a lot more often because he provides some great anti-tank, especially against the OKW, who have possible flak half-tracks to pop out or Kubelwagens. But yeah, definitely a good unit. It unlocks the AT and the Stewards. Anyway, he's trying to take back this point with some of these engineers. I'll just respond and kill these units pretty quickly here. And they're forced to retreat here. And you can see my captain even has 1 Thompson, 2 rear echelon, and 2 guys with bazookas. So definitely a capable unit there also. They built their little medical headquarters over here and destroyed his position there. So they're trying to, you know, we have all 3 victory points right now, but they're really trying to kind of make this left side their base. And you can see all these units starting to shift over to my area. They were not happy I took their fuel there, and I almost completely captured it too. Anyway, Lipton and me have both gone with the same doctrine. We've both gone with the infantry company. This way I get the riflemen, the priest, the artillery, and definitely the biggest thing I'm using that for in this match is to give my riflemen the edge with the very nice light machine gun they can get. Anyway, my men are behind cover here. I'm very afraid of a possible grenade getting, you know, coming off of one of these guys. I wouldn't say afraid. I'm very aware of it because I'm ready to move my riflemen if I need. But anyway, there's a lot of infantry rushing this center here. And I had an attack order, so my men by accident got out of cover there and they lost a man. But look, my flanking force is coming in and going to force these guys back. Alright, they're going to target my captain, obviously. There's a little danger of fighting my captain like this because he's really not designed necessarily to take on infantry. He has guys to protect him, but not to take on the infantry necessarily. But a grenade would do a lot of damage to these grenadiers here who are actually destroying my units. So I also got suppressed here by this machine gun, so I'm forced to fall back. And Lipton is going to lose his fighting position over here. But Lipton's not done yet. You can see he is doing a lot of damage to the AA half-track against the battle group headquarters over here. And really, these guys don't have a whole lot to go against them. They have a couple Volks here. Looks like they're training. Oh yeah, 3 more Volks, just a Volk spam. But keep in mind, Volks Grenadiers will lose, hands down, a rifleman. Unless they're veteran. Because these riflemen, they're 280 manpower, right? Of course they're going to beat a 230 manpower unit. You can see, we'll just switch over to him really quickly. These guys had kind of weird names. Yeah, 235. Like, these guys are like Volksgrenadiers. These are like just the common people, right? Anyway, so they're in a little bit of trouble, but yeah, they're just going to spam Volks. That can work if you have the AT equipped with them, because if you're going against the Americans, you can definitely do that. But once again, ways to counter blobs, machine guns, artillery, Soviet half-tracks that are overpowered. I gotta say, that Soviet half-track, I understand why they did the suppressant on it, but it just tears up units. I love using it now. Like, I don't really usually make half-tracks, but that half-track is great, I'm telling you. Anyway, we're getting a lot of fuel because I put a fuel cache down here. And we control most of the map. So basically, I'm close to unlocking these light machine guns here, and I really want to just unlock them. And it's actually trying to flank, and I got hit by the MG. That's perfectly covering this whole area here. Yeah, I was trying to flank around, and they have an MG station, so I'd have to flank around their base from the back here. Now, I thought the bunker would be like along this road here, but it's not. The bunker's actually pushed pretty far back just to have a crossfire along this area. So if I were to... Actually, they can. The bunker can hit you from there, but it doesn't have line of sight. And Lipton is just destroying these two guys. He's got to be careful because the ATs are pushing up. But after destroying their headquarters, you know, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. But the AT can make short work of that fighting position Lipton's trying to build. They're focusing all his attention on him pretty much. And I just have my troops back here. We're so close to that. And I have all these units back here. I just want to grab that machine gun and get going. I have plenty of munitions for it. And I got it because I built the fuel cache over here. It gave me enough to build it to unlock these. So I'm going to start grabbing as soon as I can here. Reinforce all the troops, give them light machine guns. You can actually give your men 2 machine guns by double clicking on it. Clicking it twice. I'm only going to give my men 1. You see, the thing is, if you invest 140 munitions in a unit, if you lose it, that's a massive loss to you. Anyway, the only thing I'm not in trouble with on this flank is just 1 Pioneer squad that comes up to harass me every now and then. Yeah, you can see these guys are just getting destroyed here. And he's pretty much losing units. That guy's lucky to get away. Lim's doing a good job of being able to basically harass him without getting his half track in trouble. He's going to pull back. The thing is with the AA half track, it pretty much only fires when its rear is exposed, so it has poor armor in the back, and it's giving it penalties when it gets hit there, so you got to be aware of that. Anyway, once I saw they went for a mortar half track, and we have the majority of the field here, I felt pretty comfortable. Because I have a lot of my, I have a lot of troops around the center here. I'm even going to build some sandbags in front of the log there to give us even heavier cover. But you can see, I just locked down that mode. Basically allows us to suppress enemy units and gives us more accuracy. It's kind of like hit the dirt for the conscripts when they used to be. I remember people used to just do that, back when there's just the Soviets and the Wehrmacht, but just the fact that the Soviets would just literally, conscripts with PPSAs would just hit the dirt and just wipe out your Grenadier squads next, it would just be like, wow. And then we started throwing grenades and running them over, and then they kind of changed their mind on using that. Right, I've grabbed a Jackson out first. This is just to be basically counter any kind of armor they might have, any light armor. Anyway, I'm going to start capturing territory because keep in mind this may actually cut off their fuel. We'll have to double check. I think it's still connected through this point though. Anyway, my men here behind are nice sandbags. They're not going to stand very much of a chance. I do have some rear echelons up here also. And Lipton's doing a good job pulling these guys off. I mean, he's building defensively his machine guns, and they're just pouring more and more Volks into him. And like I said, the U.S. infantry with light machine guns especially will do a lot of damage against these Volks. If they have grenades, which they don't yet, that would have been amazing. And I'm flanking along this road here. I threw some smoke just to cover in case a machine gun can start suppressing us. And I'm actually going to wipe out this squad here. And I dodged that rifle grenade, which almost wiped me out. Anyway, I'm going to move up into their field here and get behind their machine gun. I was surprised that he actually didn't turn around his machine gun. And that's actually where they surrendered, because I was about to destroy their field. The OKW could make no progress whatsoever in the match. And I pretty much got stopped right here at their choke points. So they basically held, if you look at the points, they held their field, which I was going to take, and this point right here. And I already had tanks out, and I was going to grab a Sherman very shortly. It came to our opponents, you can see basically map control, just dominate the map. And that's what happened. I only had 18 kills. Lipton definitely took both those guys on pretty much head on and basically able to win. I was able to do some flanking, kind of help hold the center while he shifted some forces over to the left. But good game to our opponents. Definitely, being able to hold all the victory points was just, look at that, 500 to 132 was a complete slaughter. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Confirm NT21 signing off.